Okay, 5, 4. Welcome to the Daily Happier, a safe space in the internet that we can honestly talk about emotional health, mental clarity, some like meditation tips, workouts, sports, anything that the human nature just brings us up here into this world. So today we're with a special person. I wrote that you are a loving human being, happy to connect, and you touch the depth. Luca, buongiorno. Oh, okay. So I would just say that me and Luca, we met during this social circle in Italy in Milano. It was a hostel, and Luca has some travels. Where are you, Luca? Luca say something. Ah, sì, come. I also. Friday.
I'm here alive. Uh, yes. So I'm now in Berlin at the moment.
Okay, so you moved from Milano. I can see you. Like, this is the thing right now. I will just let you know. We're still recording. This is the human interaction we have. This human, like, crazy stuff, chaos happening. I can't see you, mate. What's going on?
You cannot.
Where's your camera?
Do
So you
you really
cannot see
want?
your face.
You really want my camera? Okay.
I would love
It was.
to.
It was to. It was to improve the quality of the sound. I thought maybe removing the camera would improve a bit the sound, but here I am.
Okay, my
Because other people
who is
now
Luca?
it's all only listening. So to make you equal to them, I thought maybe I also make you only listening.
I'm telling you, most of the people will watch the video. It's not like, oh, we're going with the audio only. No, it's 2026. We want the sensation. We want to be like, oh, things are moving in the picture. My attention span is going crazy. Luca, let me like ask you the first question that I can just get to know you a bit more because we don't know each other much, and I want to stop talking now. Who are you? Who is Luca?
So maybe the first title that I like, it's cyclist. So everything with cycle I like. That's why my nickname is Cyclo Orbit, and that's what actually I like to be, because I like to cycle, I like to recycle, I like to tricycle, and monocycle too, but I don't know how to ride it. And I like travel as well. And with a bike, you can also travel, and I do that too. That's why I really enjoy these words and combinations of it. And probably you have also some connections yourself with this, with traveling and cycling. Even though I don't remember if you were also traveling by bike.
Oh, I was never traveling by bike, but
You never travel, yeah,
I'm
never
I'm
travel.
an enthusiast for like an Ironman once in a day. So I've been biking, I've been traveling, but never. My coordination is not as good as yours. I'm like, I need to do one thing at a time. And when I bike, I get lost very quickly.
Yeah, well, yeah, when it's long distance, sometimes it's almost easier than short distance because you have more time to get lost.
So all that travel, all that biking, what makes you alive these days? What makes you feel like, oh, I'm myself? I'm not pretending. I'm not putting any masks on, or, I can just chill right now and I can be myself. What makes you feel like that?
Yeah, often actually when I'm on the bike, I feel like that because I can see things from the outside and I'm not forced to get face to face with someone. I can do it if I want, and I'm going the right speed, either to stop or either to continue. So that makes me feel good. That's why I like cycling so much, because it's not too fast, not too slow, and you can decide about the interaction. While when you are in person in front of someone else or in a certain place, it's always harder to leave or to stay or to say something if you don't want, or to not say something if you want. So that's one of the things that makes me feel like comfortable, yeah, on the bike. And then of course, and with the right people,
I'm just thinking because you said cycle, and there's lots of cycle like recycle, tree cycle, and that was something I wasn't expecting. So, is there anything else except cycle in your life? What do you think about? Like, what's something that makes you yourself?
Yeah, actually, I wrote down. I wrote down.
Chilling here.
No, no, but
Totally fun.
I don't have them in front of me now. But I wrote down a list of things that were important for me because sometimes I even forget myself. But just because things change all the time. But at the end, from those lists that I make and maybe also other people makes, when you see that there are the top three always there, then maybe those are the things that are important to you because you may have many things in your mind right now that you think, they are great. But then after a few weeks, a few months or years, then they fade out. But for me, this cycling, the bikes has been since almost since I was a kid, always there. And the traveling with it also since I was a kid. It has never changed. Another thing, it's about social activities. For example, helping eventually others or getting help when you need, especially if people is sleeping in the streets, which is a horrible thing, and nobody should be left sleeping in the streets. So that's why I had a little project about that. A little peer-to-peer project. And this also I wanted it to be a focus of my life, even though sometimes I do it more, sometimes I do it less. And lately I'm doing it a bit less. So now I'm pushing because I wrote it down. Now also go to my blog and I read it and I think, okay, I wanted to do this. This is was important for me. It's still important, but sometimes I don't have the time. So I try to push for it. The third thing is then love, love in general, and enjoying your life. So I try to keep those three guiding stars together, try not to bring them too apart from each other, and to focus on this also because if you do too many things, then you start to lose the focus. But I imagine you also have do you have three guiding stars or more?
Do I have three or more guiding stars? I think you have even more because I see. So you wrote traveling, theater, cycling, and nature as your four cardinal directions in your blog post. You wrote something that you are looking for, like you're not always accurate with your pointing your true north, but you have those directions you're going into. But myself, thank you for asking that question. Mm, I'd say for myself, it's been always growth, kindness, and possibly compassion. If I can point them into those general words. But if I say growth, I mean to see myself stick to my own words, to build the trust on a daily basis, to show up for people I love. So that will be growth. That anytime I feel like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I know that I need to do it. Because what I see recently in my own life is there's a big difference between what I want and what I need. And not always what I want is what I need, and what I need is what I actually am supposed to. Like what I want is not always what I'm supposed to do. Because if I did everything I want to do, dude, we would be so done for. Life would be so funny if I was doing actually everything I want to do. I don't want to do that. Like,
Are you sure? Are you sure about this?
no, no. I don't.
I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this actually.
Okay. So what do you mean by that?
I'm not sure that you would be happier if you would do everything that you like to do. Is it so that is it this what you mean that would be fun if you could do everything?
Oh, I think my day and your day has like 24 hours. And to fit everything into the schedule, I'm very happy. I'd say I'm peacefully happy at the moment in my life. This podcast is sponsored by. That's going to be a quick intermission. A reminder, because I'm sponsoring this thing. And this is sponsored by your friend, a stranger, maybe your parents, your partner, or most importantly, your past and future selves. Someone who cares deeply about you, for who you are becoming, for this, if you're showing up, if you're staying consistent. Because you gotta know, you're not alone in this path. We're maybe on different journeys, on different paths, but yeah, the journey is the same actually. So being an adult ain't an easy thing. It's like juggling jobs, school, relationships, talking openly about the emotions, lots of stuff. Lots of it is so deep, so hard. Oh my god, help me. So I want you to speak up, ask for help, do whatever you gotta do, and leave out a 5-star review. Continue life. But at the same time, I like to do much more. I just can't. I would like to, but I need to slow down. And that topic keeps coming back in my life. I need to slow down, because if I don't do it, my body won't handle it. And the world will be like, oh, what is this crazy madman walking down the street? So I think I mean it in that sense, rather than some like crazy profound, more of, yeah, slow down, kid. The next one would be, what did I say? I said kindness. As you said, like helping others is very important in life. It helps you reflect back and see the world, yeah, especially different perspectives. That's why the Daily Happier even exists, because I want to hear your story. I want to reflect my own and to voice it back, voice it into the world. Because for me and you, it's going to be a memory. We had this conversation, but I bet you a year from now, I'm gonna keep getting messages. Oh, I randomly stumbled upon this episode, and there is this guy on the bike, and he's naked and he's helping homeless people, and he's 30 off, and he talks about love, and dude,
But I don't do them all at the same time together. Eh? I don't. It's- I will tell you more about the. I mean, I will give more disclaimers about the different activities.
and the timestamps. So the next one will be love, compassion. I would say compassion, because love, we're gonna get to the definition of love at like most of in the end, but compassion to me is to realize that all of us need help, and all of us need to stay together, need to be allowed to exist. All the like human beings, all the alive creatures, sentient beings, or anything like a fly, even the fly. So that was a very big difference that I realized in my life. If I see a fly, I will either just swat it, and I don't care. I'm gonna kill it right away if I see a fly. But I would sometimes,
Really?
yeah. But sometimes, like most of the time right now, I'm like, can I just slow down, open the window, and be like, pew, 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 fly, fly, flying, fly. So, but most of it, the compassion toward the another person, toward myself, that I'm not maybe who I wanted to be, just because I'm focusing too far. My focus is not on the moment, it's just too far in the future. But yeah, just allowance to be who you are, and I'll be okay with, oh, I'm becoming something else, and helping others to become who they want to be, and they need to be, maybe. It's all work in progress, dude.
Yeah, but that's I think that's the point of life. I think that that's really important that there is a bit of work in progress, because that's the spice of life. If you accomplish everything and you do everything you want, I think life it's then not so fun anymore, because you've done everything, you have nothing to do. So it's yeah,
Mhm.
it's not fun anymore.
So you say if you keep accomplishing everything you want, you mean the life is not going to be fun anymore? I agree to some extent. That's why I'm asking back. This is what you mean, that if you keep getting what you need, like, oh, I want to do this, I do it, or I'm successful all the time. Do you mean by that life is losing its flavor, its spice, as you said, that
Yeah,
very much like.
yeah. It's a bit like a quote of Leonardo da Vinci, which probably you know, and I think most people know.
Which obviously
Um,
knowledgeable.
and he said that he said a quote about death, but actually it's a bit about life as well. So he said, "The night gives rest and peace to you after a productive day, after a fun day, the same way as death gives rest and peace after a fun and productive life and well spent life." So, yes, we all want to do many things and we would like to do always more, and that's really good. But it's good also that we don't get everything we want. And there will be something a bit out, and then we will aim for it, and then we will see if we get it or not. And that's the magic of life as well, because if you would get everything and you will have no night, only day and only doing, I think one of the best things is to learn not to do things. And that's probably now maybe you or many other people have read this concept, this quote is also a quote about learning to not do. But actually, yes, it's really good. It's really important. It's a bit like the meditation that the point of the meditation is to not think and to not do anything, which is really difficult, and enjoying also doing nothing, like enjoying not to do anything and relax. It's so difficult. My sister, she cannot do it at all. And
You do
she
it?
also says always she wants to, yeah, okay. I would like, yeah, sometimes I can do it, but I get also the social pressure that gives me a bit of stress. And then I like also productivity. I like efficiency. I like to do things, but I I am working on this to also not do anything and not feel guilty about it. I think this should be part of most people, like everyone's life, the enjoyment of not doing, because sometimes we do more damage than than good. Like if people would sleep a bit more, if everybody would sleep a bit more, would love a bit more, there would be maybe less wars also.
You said on your blog post or just on your blog that the poor is not the one who has little. I think that's what it meant. The poor is not the one who has little. The poor is the one that desires much more than what he needs.
Exactly.
And I think that's what you were saying seconds ago. Also,
Yes.
so what do you think it's necessary, like a necessity? For a human being, for like one of us, like no matter who we are, what do you think is that what we truly need, like deep down? What should we focus
Yeah,
on?
you were talking about this as well earlier, right? So the need, I think that's the most important thing in life, to understand what is your real need and what is something that you create yourself and you do it because of other reasons and you don't need this thing at all, or even even it's harmful to you, and that's the worst. So the need, yeah, it's really hard to describe. After I'm curious about your own description, your own definition of it. But the need is, it's probably something that makes you comfortable and happy, but first comfortable, and gives you the material and a bit of the spiritual um um basic, I would call it. But then it's you who should interpret, what is it good for, and when it's enough. and when it's not a need anymore, and then when it's just uh, trying to follow the rules of the society and others that push you. I have a friend, a childhood friend, that we were like brothers as a kids, and sometimes he was a bit bullied, and he was thin and small. And then after many years, maybe 10, 20 years, I went back to my town where I was born, and I met him, and I didn't recognize him. He was huge, big, full of muscles. And then he came with a really expensive car, and he came from a humble family. He came with a car of maybe 50,000 euros or more. And then I got to know that he's now a businessman. He owns restaurants and other businesses. The wife is also really rich, and I thought, okay, interesting. He felt the need of changing his life to show everyone that, he was not a small person, that he was strong enough, and that he was not poor. This is what he thought he needed. And maybe, who knows, maybe this works for him, maybe he's okay, but I'm not sure if it's really okay, because he doesn't have time eat to eat a meal with someone. Like, even when I meet him, it's for a few minutes, and then he needs to run left and right. And I really don't know if he needs this and if he's happy with it. It's so difficult, to understand these two worlds of happiness and need. So I wonder, like, sometimes I think, he really doesn't need all this, and he's getting all these things that he doesn't need, and just pressure from society, and because he was different when he was a kid, and I want to show everyone that he's not weak and not humble. But at other times, I think maybe if it works for him and if it's not harming others, who knows? Maybe this was his need, and maybe it's good for him. I would not do it for sure. So it's always a bit tricky to give also definition for everyone. What works for one person, and I'm sure that for you it's another thing, as you were mentioning also, and and that's maybe the beauty of life, that everything is different for each person.
That's what you said seconds ago. That like his story is so extensive, and you're trying to grasp it as much as you can. And I reckon one of your interactions with him might be just coming to this 5, 10 an hour meeting and just talking about life. But then you realize how many years have passed and how many things have changed. And maybe this job is not only to prove something, but it's also to cope with something. Or just, okay, this is the new way I learn how to live my life. Maybe I can't leave it. Maybe I want to do it, but sometimes it's just very hard to balance things out. So no judging. That's what I don't like to do. Like I see you do the same thing, like no judging, just staying curious. Yet at the same time, I'm trying to learn lessons from every single place as much as you can, from every single person without judging in that matter. So yeah, every story is going to be different. Everything is going to be a bit more challenging to dive deeper and pull out the bullet points out of this, and especially just say, okay, advice that's going to work for everyone. So let me change the question based on what you said. Like you gave his story. So what about you? What do you think is the biggest, maybe mental, maybe lifestyle, like life change between Luca before? I'm not saying the years, I'm not saying 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but maybe it happened 10 seconds ago. Who knows? But what is the difference between Luca before and now?
And it's a really good question. Also because I wonder um, why you ask, because actually, yes, I did the change. I changed a lot, but I wonder also, does everyone change? Probably not everyone. So you ask me because it's an interesting question, but I guess that many people don't change so much, and then later you will tell me, I turn you all the questions. Yours changes, but I don't know the questions to you as well, but because this is not just me, right? This is not like at the police, right? So I can ask you questions.
Yeah, totally fine.
So yeah, I had a couple of changes, and I wonder when there will be the next one. The biggest one I had, and of course linked with places, changing country, changing myself as well. So the biggest change I had, well, okay, the real biggest, it was not about places, it was about my mother when she died, and I was quite young. So that was, of course, a big shock, and it made me much more mature because before that, I was like many in Italy where I was born, like really dependent on my mother. And now I see people at 50 years old, they're still dependent on their mother in Italy. And from one side, this made me more independent, but it was really heavy. So this was maybe the first big change. The second was when I moved to Belgium from Italy, and from a mindset of thinking about more cars and money, because actually I had this thing that I wanted to make some money. Also, I was not my family, we were not rich. Actually, we were officially rich on paper and poor in the refrigerator in real life. So this was a really funny thing. So I also had this aim to make money and become strong. And but yeah, we were the only family probably in Italy or in the world that were rich for maybe the tax office. I don't know for whom. Like many houses, properties, but then there was no money really. Um, and so this is also what I thought. Like my friend, I want to make money. I want to have a decent life. I want to travel. That's why I worked on ships. I got a degree to work on ships, and I wanted also to get ranks. I became like captain on ships and like engineer on ships, and this was the first transformation. But then the second transformation, when I realized that this was not so important, and instead I switched to bikes. So then embraced my new philosophy, religion, cycling,
That's quite a change
and then
from ship to a bike.
from ship and cars. I had this thing in my mind that I wanted to buy a car when I was in Belgium. I want to buy this car. I was looking online always for this car. Yeah, I really want that car. I was thinking how I could customize it. And then I dropped cars altogether for bikes since I discovered them in Belgium. And I already had them. I already had interest in bikes when I was a kid and younger, but in Belgium, there was a big switch when I was a bit older than teenager. And then this opened my doors to cycling and life of two wheels. Actually, because of another friend that abandoned me while we were living together at home and ran away with the car because of a misunderstanding. Because we had a misunderstanding, and he fled to Italy back from Belgium, and I was alone without the car, and I had to go to work in the harbor, which was far. And then, out of desperation, I took the bicycle in the winter, and I discovered, wow, the bicycle saved my life. And I thought, if I can do this with a bike, I can do many more things. And then that's why I started to do the tour of the world with a bike. And this was my second transformation. My third one, let's say that I did three in total. Because we always transform ourselves a little bit, but those were the biggest one. The third one was in Finland, when I changed again into a more understanding person, less
Yo, 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 it's me again. Buongiorno, come stai? If you could possibly leave out a 5-star review or I mean, the stars are extremely important up here. Please do so. Spotify / The Daily Happier, you know where to find us. And open up the video. Come on, so many handsome faces and beautiful people up here. So, anyhow, remember about the review, but remember also about the feedback on Instagram. If you have any comments, anything, you can write down. It's below the episode. And also, if you want to join us, be a part of this community, show up, tell your story, and just be curious about who you are and who are those people up here, send me a message. I got you. We're gonna record the podcast up here. Possibly. I'm not throwing words into the wind. So yeah, write me a message and we're gonna figure it blah, 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 do something. Cheers. Watch out the episodes and leave out the review. Hey.
More respectful, more understanding for others and situations as the mode is in Finland oftentimes.
Could you repeat the last sentence? I'm thinking.
About
What did you say at the end? Like free
So-
transformations and
in Italy they say Paganini non si ripete. Paganini, the composer.
yeah.
So Paganini, the composer, he made one of a masterpiece of music. He was comparable to Vivaldi. Maybe you heard about it, like the biggest composer of the world. He played this piece of music in front of the king. The king was astonished by this music, and he said, "Wow, Paganini, you're incredible. You're the best musician, the best composer of all times. For me, you're the best. You made this piece, and please play it again." The king asking to Paganini. And Paganini looked at him in the eyes and he said, "My dear king, I will not repeat it because Paganini doesn't repeat himself."
Or
And
she just doesn't remember.
And this is the reason. He didn't remember. He didn't remember. Did you know this story?
No, I didn't, but I listened to you, and what I did, I did this. I moved my ear to the microphone, to the phone, and it just switched off. I didn't hear one word, and that's why. But yeah, okay, totally fine. So what I hear, three transformations, lots of stuff going on in this life. You're very accepting, very transformative, and the way you just did is like the Paganini version of that. I very much love the story. You were very smooth with like even the origin story of the bike of the world tour. Like you had to go to the harbor because your friend just stole your car to Italy. So that was because you and first your mom passing away. So independence. Second one was what would you call the second one? Because the first one is love. The first one is independence, and the second one is
The second one is cycling. I would call it cycling, especially like
okay.
circle, like the circle of things and the circles of bikes. The wheels on the bikes, the wheels of power, because they gave me power. Otherwise, I
Yeah, I have. No, totally. I didn't want to interrupt you. I feel bad now. But I'm laughing
no,
because you're so genuine with all of that. That's awesome.
it's just really difficult sometimes to repeat things, especially when things come from feelings and memories. And yeah, at the end, when you say the same thing again, you will say it always with a different mode.
But you always switch it. Yeah, emotion different, totally. Yeah, your whole expression is going to change and be like, "Oh, I am bored because I have to repeat myself." Or
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes you just exhaust yourself from the emotions in the beginning. Be like, "That's my whole story.
yeah.
Take it the way I said it, and I can't repeat it because my story is it's going to change. It's still in progress." So Well, thank you for sharing that. That's human thing.
Remember that I always turn the questions to you, Em. Even briefly, I want to know your now the things that changed your life. Even even in two sentences or more.
Oh,
What's your
I'd like to
assignment
go
for me?
more, but I will go quickly then. Because when you were saying I'm trying to work on the like listen, don't think. I'm trying not to think about anything when I listen to you. I'm trying to be present as much as possible. That's why I write it down and be like, I'm gonna forget it in a second. That's fine, and then I'm gonna listen.
Yeah.
Three things. That's a lot. Do I have to say three things? Can I say maybe I can?
No, no, you don't have to say three things. You can say one thing. Actually, most of the oftentimes we have one big thing, probably not more than one. Most people,
Uh, okay.
I
A
think.
quick question. Can I ask you a quick question? Just like a logical one. What were the time differences between those moments in your life? Like a year, a week, 5 years, 10 years between the moments, like those chapters.
The differences,
The time difference, especially.
the diff of time, like how long it was between one and
Yeah, because I think that's very essential to realize. Oh, is it happening very quickly sometimes, or it takes
yeah,
a longer time to say, "Oh, I'm changing."
yeah, yeah. It's about. I like to make things. I like to put things in boxes, even though we should not. So I don't know if it's by chance or if it's question of real need of time, but it was about 10 years between.
Okay.
And you know what? Between those 10 years, I don't know why, it's like I have these cycles of 10 years or about 10 years. And even love, even relationships, I noticed like that for each of those 10 years, there was one person that was really prominent in my life. And then every 10 years kind of changed a bit. Like, I don't know if, yeah, it's interesting, but I have maybe a 10 years cycle.
You like this word, don't you? Cycle.
Yeah.
So about my transformations. So you said 10 years because I'm asking this question because I wanted to see a frame from you because for me it's more of in the last 3 years that things have changed because I
Three
finished high
years.
school 3 years. Yeah, I finished school like formal education
Yeah.
3 years ago. And since then I told myself I'm gonna go all in and create communities, work with people as much as I can, take the risk, open up emotionally, start creating content, start doing things that scare me the most, but still I need to do them to grow. So I'm thinking about my first transformation to be the summer camp.
Your first summer camp.
My first summer camp. So I started working at a summer camp
Mm,
where, like, after, like, when I was 20 or something.
mm.
Um, I was working as a summer counselor, and working with those kids and seeing all those counselors, like, also, I wouldn't say work, I would say express themselves because expression was such an important thing to me back then and still is, of course. But summer camp was the moment when I truly felt myself, and I still do. 2 days ago I got my visa for this summer, so in April going back to my summer camp. I'll be traveling the US for a couple of weeks, and then I'm going to my summer camp for 4 months, and I'm extremely excited for that. So 4 years in a row, I'm going to the summer camp, and I keep realizing how simple life is when you listen to your inner child. And that was the transformation when I aligned finally with my inner child. The second one was recently, actually, as I think about it. It was about love, about me,
Uh-huh.
people who, yeah, our social circle, literally. I think I might have opened up about it up there, but it doesn't matter. What matters is I realized that I'm worthy of love, and I'm worthy of expressing my like of expressing love and getting the love. like accepting it in any way possible it is. And at the same time, I stopped looking for love
That's
because
the
I
best.
felt,
That's the best thing that one can do to find love. You find it when you stop looking for it. Yeah.
and then, dude, I keep finding it. I don't know how. In a sense, I find such an. I went to the embassy, to American embassy, a couple days ago, and it's so simple for me because I keep seeing those people who just are stuck in their phones, or
Yeah.
people that are stressed out or afraid, because I'm that way myself. I keep working on it. I'm not always. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm too tired. I'm gonna give in. But I see those people and I just want to connect. That's all I want to do. I want to feel the connection. I want to see the love. I want to be the love. I want to help the life and the world to embrace the love a bit more. So I started talking with those people, and there was this movie director I talked with for an hour, and he gave me his whole life story. He was 84, and he just talked about his life,
Uh-huh.
about his marriages, about everything else. Beautiful time ever. I asked him some deep questions. He asked back, and we were just talking for an hour. But that's one thing. The thing I'm talking about is we were waiting in the line, and like I started talking with a girl behind me, and then introduced myself. We're talking about summer camps, and then another girl, and we connected. Like three of us, we started talking like as new friends, as strangers who became friends. And then we
Yeah.
went inside the embassy, and there was like a couple different guys who were like our age, possibly. Like so similar things. We were waiting for a visa. Age didn't matter, to be honest, up there. What mattered is that we all are on the same path. We're trying to get a visa, and I'm trying to find a connection between all of us. So I started talking to Jeremy, who possibly, I hope so, he's going to be on this podcast soon because we have connected also.
Mhm.
And this guy is going to the US for 10 months to be at the university. So I connected this guy with the friends I made seconds ago. And there is another friend, Yannick, who I didn't know totally. And this guy, oh, I'm going to the US for the same exchange as this guy. So four of us, and then five of us. And we were just blabbering. We were just talking all the time in the line. And it was so fun to see the love. Like, no expectation, no masks on. We can just be human beings. So that excited me so much that I'm not looking for it. I'm just expressing myself finally without any expectations from the world. That was number two. Number three, dude, I don't need answers. Like, I don't need more answers. I was stuck for a long time in the idea, oh, I want to grow. There's one more thing I need to do to be perfect. There is one more thing I need to, like, this is one more person I need to talk with to be myself, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, all the answers I kept finding about love, about self growth, about friendships, about anything else, all of that was within me already. Like, I didn't have to look far away. I already had those answers, and they just needed some less, like, fewer distractions. They'll be like, I have to do this, and I don't want to do this. So don't do it. Just get a little. So I started taking more action, and that's a big transformation in my life right now. I I sometimes have to tell myself, stop freaking caring. Like, you care a lot, and I will care. I will always care a lot, and possibly more than anyone else around me. But stop caring about the outcome. Express yourself to the best ability, and grow from it. Don't grow from seeking the answers. Grow from putting yourself out there without having all of them, without feeling ready. That's how we build confidence, and that's how you build your own life. Yeah, I hope that was two sentences.
Yeah, and that's really interesting. And probably there is a smaller gap of years between those three uh, situations in your life.
The first situation was 3 years ago. Second transformation was 3 months ago. And the last transformation was like a month ago that I was like, dude, I keep flying, I keep running away from something, and I don't have to run away. So I could have those at the same moment, but I had to grow to those moments. I had to get the context and experience. I had to have someone say, Jacob, slow the freak down because you are running too fast. Be more gentle with yourself. If I didn't have those people, I would never slow down. And possibly right now, I don't feel comfortable slowing down. But I am myself when I slow down. And that's scary sometimes.
When you feel it. Well, it's so it seems that I'm allowed to ask you questions too, right?
Because I'm trying to give you space, like some quiet time, because I need to look at the questions I have.
Do you have more questions for me? Because I have also a question for you.
Go ask me, please. I'll take that one.
It could be the happy ending question.
Oh,
Because
happy ending question.
no, I mean, so yeah, it could be a good finale, a good final question about the self-doubt, the fear and happiness. So since you made a podcast about it, so let's say that you would give your opinion, your definition of doubting. Actually, there is a really cool song that I want to send you later about doubts, about questioning things and thoughts and feelings. Italian song, really cool, really interesting. It's a rock song. It's called
Like that you understand it.
Have Doubt. Yeah, you can translate it. And it talks about these, about doubts, about life with or without doubts, and that it's totally fine and really, actually really good to have doubts, because if you don't have them, you you are actually not totally human. Everybody is doubt. So give me your 2-3 sentences definition of how to approach doubts and eventually feel your happiness if it fits in the answer.
Okay, self-doubt. What's my definition of self-doubt? I think self-doubt, I would say I don't think, I feel. That's a difference. I started using my vocabulary recently. I feel that self-doubt might be the road between I want to do something and I actually do it. So this is some kind of layer, some kind of, it's not a barrier like a wall. It's more of like a spark, like an energy ball following you on this road between wanting to do something, having an idea, perceiving it as something that I need to do, and actually putting the action in. And the self-doubt might be totally beneficial. It might be helping you question something, helping you grow, helping you adjust and perceive something from a different perspective that finally will help you come with different outcomes than usually. But to me, self-doubt was always, am I enough? Am I actually trying to prove something still? Do I have all the answers? That's why I said seconds ago about the transformation is, it doesn't mean that if I had the transformation, I'm keeping it all the time. No, I'm still staying in that phase of, oh, have I transformed fully? And possibly I did, but I'm not used to that transformation yet. I still have my self-doubts, and possibly I will have them till the end of my life in whatever I do, especially in a sense of expressing myself. If it's here on the podcast, if it's in the public, if it's talking in front of the campers, the communities, if it's talking with strangers on the streets or anywhere else. The self-doubt for me is the notion in the back of my head telling me, maybe it would be better if you don't do it because you can get better. Maybe you should get better before you start doing anything. So I don't care. Like, yeah, let's go. Self-doubt, my best friend. Let's keep acting.
But there's a bit of a connection with your. That's the last podcast you had about this, right?
Dude, that was a podcast because my friend Steven, he was supposed to show up for a conversation. He lives in California, so he lives like 12 hours from this time right now. So it was very hard to just catch up on the conversation. And I was like, oh, I'm going to record something. So self-doubt, fear, and actually happiness, because eventually I feel happy. It's just I'm used to too many different definitions of happiness. So yeah, it was totally new. And I recorded it 2 weeks ago because I didn't have anything else. And then I went to Norway, so taking action doesn't always work. Do you have anything to like ask me about this? Because I have some questions for you also, dude.
You want to? Well, I have one last question for you, actually.
Go for it. And then we'll go to the self-expression and maybe happiness. I'm very curious about you. How do you feel about those two?
So, the last question I have for you, it's always about something that you wrote, actually something in your podcast. It's a bit difficult. Well, it's about it's just for a change. It's about love. This one that you wrote, the number 48, Dominic, peace, love, and kindness.
Oh, Dominic, that's a good one. What about this one?
So, do you think love it's something that you have to understand? Because I already know your definition of love. I would have asked you your definition of love. It's also cool to know. But you could add that too. But you told me already, and not on this podcast. I don't know if you have ever said on the podcast your definition of love. Have you?
I was never ready, I think. Or I never had the
I don't know
say
if you said in the Dominic episode, if you said it there, but um, is love something that you have to understand or not? Like, yes or no question.
that's a very powerful question. I will say no to this one. Were you expecting me to say no or yes?
No, so yeah, I'll then explain and give your definition.
Okay, my definition of love as for now, I've done some like bathroom therapy with my friends. We're just cleaning the bathrooms. Bathroom therapy. It's a thing in the US. That's what we do, especially in the Buddhist.
Really?
Yeah, we just clean bathrooms and we talk because we are so bored.
And you told,
Like,
okay, because
yeah,
okay, it's like the meditation, because you get okay. I didn't. Well, but I don't think it's a real thing. You're kidding me, right?
it's not like you sit on the toilet and there's like strangers coming to you and knocking on the door and being, oh, can I tell you something? No, it's more of when you feel comfortable enough, you start opening up.
Yeah.
To me, love is something special. I would say it's something sacred in some sense, but it doesn't mean that it shouldn't be touched. It shouldn't be spoken out loud. It's something that you should like you're allowed to express. And from the podcast with the Dominic and his whole person and my whole, I think, idea on love changed a little bit because I got to know the new word, allowing, to allow yourself to allow the other person. So to me, love is a safe space where you can grow, where you can stay goofy, stay true to your own values. You are not seeking completion. yet you are who you are. You are the whole. And back in the day, I was writing very, very many essays, very like quotes, essays, funny stuff. And in Polish, it says półtora and półtora is a whole tor. Whatever, like it doesn't matter. But its translation is like a half of a rail plus half of the rail is like a whole rail. But I don't agree with that. It's like a train metaphor. That a half of you and half of someone is going to make a whole because you are empty, half empty. And I disagree with that. At every single point in your life, you are you.
Mhm.
You are the whole person. So in a relationship, I love having two people, yet the foundation need to be correlating. Like the values need to be aligning in some sense. So love might be about alignment, about the possibility to grow, to connect deeply. And I think this touching the depth and staying vulnerable is extremely important to me.
So, in one sentence,
Love is.
you already told me once. I want to see
I
if you
think
still remember.
Oh, do I remember? Love is growth. I would say growth right now. It's the whole, like, yeah. What did I say? Tell me, please, what I say. I will listen to you, but I have to turn off my watch. What is it?
You mean
So I don't
because
remember.
when we met, this is one of the things we talked about the definition of love. You probably remember. Maybe that's why we kind of connected a bit. You remember that, right?
I do remember.
Do you remember that?
Your definition was more about maybe pain, maybe something more deeper.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Really.
Yeah, but of course, that's one definition, and it can change, and it's one perspective, and it doesn't even have to be a real thing because love you cannot really touch and buy and sell, and it's just something. It's your own definition that you have there, and it's there for you and doesn't have to be shared by anyone else. It's just your own opinion. No, for me was that God. I remember it because I thought a lot about this, and I wrote also blog post about it. And my definition was that love, it's like God. It may make you feel great if you believe in it. It may destroy you if you do something wrong or if something goes wrong, and it may even not exist at all. That's the pessimistic final part.
There's someone
But I really remember you had that really interesting one.
I think I know. I think I know what I said, but I might be wrong. So seconds ago, I said that love is about growth. I would say that love is choice. I don't remember what I said back then.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good to have different definitions and also different languages is always different. Maybe you think about it from one love from one language that you speak, which is different than another one. Even in Greek, for example, there are 7 words for love. 7. So that's also interesting.
So do you think that even though we perceive love a bit differently on the basis of a definition, do you think that all the people are capable of loving? Or I don't want to go too deep because that's a very, very specific subject. So
If two people
yeah,
don't perceive it the same way, if they can love each other.
yeah. Because you said there's 7 words in Greek. There's like possibly many words in Italian. Because you guys are very, 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 very good with
In
those.
Italian,
And possibly, I don't know. No.
Well, in Italian, probably there are not so many because many things come also from Greek to Italian language. No, I think they are the ones that have the most words for love. I think the Greek, yeah, to my knowledge. And I don't remember them. Oh, I wrote them down. I don't remember.
I was waiting for you to just go like with those definitions with like pitlos. No.
I can read it from my blog post right now.
Okay, so basically like a definition of a friendship love, like parental love, like romantic love, of love without
Yes, yes,
yeah, like a self love, like different definitions of those.
yes,
Different
yes,
descriptions.
yeah. And yeah, if you're curious, I can tell you to them because I just have it in front of me now.
Oh, please do.
But this is what I wrote. It's my own blog post without even ChatGPT. So there is agape, the universal love, humans to humans or to God. And then there is ludus, the flirtatious love. Then there is eros, the romantic love, which is also the Greek of God, as you may know, and the Greek of love. So it's the Greek god of love and the love of the god of fertility too. Then there is mania, that you would pronounce in English, which is an obsessive love, which we still use this word, right? Mania we use, mania we use, eros we use. Then there is pragma, which now it's not used the same way in English, which it's committed love. Then there is philia, which you have in many composed words. You have just one part of the word containing this word philia, which means friendly love. So it's more for friends. And then there is storge, which I'm not sure how to pronounce it, which is love for family, familial love. They have this one. And the last one is philautia, which I don't pronounce properly in Greek, which means self-love. So that's crazy, right? Actually, it's 8. It's not 7. It's 8.
Oh, so that was the last one. Self love.
That was the last one. Self-love.
Did you know that today is International Day of Self Love? Because tomorrow there are Valentines. There's a day of self.
Valentine's is tomorrow. Today.
I think so. I don't know. Truly, I don't know.
It's almost. We are close to the midnight.
Oh, are we? Don't tell me, please. Don't tell me. But yeah, nothing changes. I'm good. I'm gonna go for a run tomorrow, possibly. Another day, another struggle. Oh, I'm not loved. Oh, life is hard. Life's good. So let me ask you, is there anything about love, about your definitions of love, that you had to unlearn? Something you thought that this is true, but you learned from your experience or maybe from ideas you read about that, okay, this is not something I'm going to do anymore. This needs to change, or this is different.
Yes, a lot actually. That's the biggest part of it, I think. Yeah, one thing that I unlearned was that you cannot be in the head on and feelings of others, and that they change actually as your feeling change and others feeling change also, and things are not forever. That's maybe the first thing. And sometimes things are not even for today, so things are much more dynamic, and you should not feel personally exposed. You should not take it personally, never ever, if something changes in someone else or in yourself about love, about relationship. Unfortunately or fortunately, it changes, and it's just, that's maybe one of the beauty and also one of the hardest parts of it. it's much more dynamic than what I thought, and what many people think. Maybe even though sometimes we push ourselves to believe it's just one thing and just one person.
What's the most beautiful thing about love?
Yeah, it's always hard to like hard and at the same time interesting and fascinating to define love and trying to put it somewhere. There is also another song from the same singer that I was mentioning before that was talking about doubts. He made a song about love, and the song was mostly about love not being definable and about rules not applying to love. About love being an n- not definable science. So we should all relax a bit more, maybe about it. Maybe we
I agree with
take it
that.
a bit too seriously.
I think some seriousness is necessary up here because I get a feeling that to love someone, to love yourself, is a bit higher in priority than making groceries or cooking. Maybe what I actually think, like, you can find so much passion into cooking or lots of love in some sense. Yet, especially when you're touching another person's spirit, existence, and your two sides just clash in some sense, intertwine, love might be a very, very vulnerable thing to touch, to be a part of. And it's beautiful also. But I think we shouldn't be too much stuck in our heads when it comes to love, because
Yeah.
as you said in the beginning, when we are trying to do too many things, when we are trying to add to the picture, add, we are becoming this poor man again, poor man that wants to, and he says like, oh, I desire so much more, but actually what I need is actually just love.
Yeah. Yeah. What I meant is just that we should be more relaxed about it, like you said, and not look for it like all the time and thinking, nobody loves me, or this person really loves me, and just take it not too seriously in this way that yes, it's one of the most beautiful things, but we should not be hunting for it. It should be not like it should not be something that we can that we try to create, that we try to obtain, and we should just care less about how to get there and when it comes, when it doesn't come, and think more about love itself, which means, to be comfortable and to enjoy the moment. Probably this could be another definition, to just be there and really enjoying this company, this person, this situation, even your own company, and just, yeah, being happy. I think it's a synonym of happiness, I think, at the same time.
Made me made me feel a bit vulnerable right now when he said that, because even though I was never in a relationship of some sort that I could say, okay, this is a romantic relationship, I I feel a lot, I feel deeply, and I have a regret about the way I loved someone. And I think, like, when you love someone once, you still love them, but it's more of, in love, I was trying to impress. I was trying to be the best version of myself in some sort. But because of that,
Breathe that,
getting
sir.
to be the best version of myself, that even though that sounds healthy, in my case, that was okay. I'm gonna focus all my resources on myself at the time, and I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna keep being. Oh, I'm the best in some sense because I'm working on myself all the time, or I'm very good. Let's say at giving you compliments or just listening. Like it's a beautiful thing to listen, but when you're trying to optimize it for a benefit of, oh, I see you working hard, I see you growing all the time, but most of the time that wasn't about the other person. It was most of the time about me, about my ego. And what I regret is not allowing other person express themselves freely when I wasn't too much in my own head. I should have just be more present, more than I was present as much as I could, but I know I could be more possibly. Yeah, love is fun. I have a question for you. Well, let's switch the topic if we may. That was a closure. So that was a closure about love, and I'm very happy because in the title of this podcast, possibly I'm gonna mention something.
Yeah, it's really
We spoke,
fast.
I think, around for like 40 minutes about love, and that's essentially what I was looking forward to today. What about being on a bicycle naked, dude?
Yeah, that was we could not have finished this topic, which is also about love. You may have seen also may have seen also the picture. Actually, in my blog post about love, I put the naked. So this is another. Also, it has been also kind of my Belgian time of transformation. Bikes and being naked was kind of a bit connected. This was for the Cyclonotista, the naked bike ride, or the world's naked bike ride. So the first time I heard about this thing, I was in Belgium and I was into bikes, not yet about riding naked. But I heard about this thing, I don't know where, in the news or somewhere. And I thought, wow, these people is crazy. They go naked on the bike. This is mad. This is like people, mentally ill people. This is like perverts. Or I thought, okay, I want to go. I want to see. It was so crazy that I got really interested. I am a bit crazy as well. But I thought it was just stupid thing, like jackass thing. And I went. And actually, I was so much into the thing that when I went to Brussels, because I lived at that time in Ghent, in Belgium, when I went to Brussels to join this event, I want to go to the event quickly. I didn't want to be late, so I crossed the traffic light with the red with a bike, which you should never do. And the police car started to chase me. And I started to run from the police. I was not naked yet. If I was naked, I, I would have been naked at that time. Was even more spectacular. Me running naked from the police. Unfortunately, I was not naked because I didn't start joining the event yet. But I was running from the police because of traffic light, and it just came automatically. But it was kind of rebellion. The same reason why I was going to this event. Little rebellion thing. The same reason in my mind, I started to run away. I started to run away from the police, which you should not do. So never do it at home, people listening. But at the end, it was okay. They just managed to block me. I don't know how they managed, because I took really narrow roads and stuff, but they got me, and they just told me, please stop at the red light next time. I told them, yes, yes, yes. But I was going to the naked bike ride event, and I was hurrying up. And then I landed on the event, everybody naked, and I didn't do it naked the first time. The first time I didn't dare to do it naked. Also because one of the mottos, it's as there as you dare. So I was there still with my underwear because even for me, that I'm a kind of a weirdo, even for me, it was weird to be naked in public. But then I totally embraced everything. But not the first time. This is as the same thing like when you do something, you eat something, you meet someone, and the first time you have this, you don't know even why you do it the first time, or it's not the real reason why you do something. So the first time I did it, it was for totally different reasons. I just was curious about these crazy people. But then I felt so liberated. The second time when I was really naked, I felt so free to be naked on the bike and to be a huge group of people naked and then start staring at the people in front of us, looking at us and not understanding what's going on. I was so liberating and freeing that I had to do it every year. So now I organize it in Finland. So you and everybody, all the listeners, are really welcome to join. We are doing it in Finland every year. The last, it's the last Saturday of July, the hottest day in Finland. We have this naked bike ride for freeing yourself to protest against pollution, against to protest against indecent exposure to car gas, and for all the reason you may want to add to this message. But mostly it's actually about pollution, about gas. That it's it's uh it's really destroying the world. The oil.
What kind of people show up for those kind of events? Because I would love to sign up.
And the majority, the 80%, it's of course weirdo. Weirdo. That's actually there's also a
It's
good
like
part of.
him.
There is also 20% of normal people.
How would you define a weirdo?
Well, we're just
Between a
someone
normal
who,
person and a weirdo.
well, we are all a bit weirdo and we are all a bit normal. But I would say, anyway, most people joining this event do it for the environment because they embrace the message of having less cars in the cities, especially, and less gas. As one motto says, less gas, more us. Some other people, they do it more for exhibitionism. They like to show their body. It's a bit more about the body. Some people do it because they have some uncomfort in showing their body, so they do it as a comfort crash experience. So there are many different reasons why people do it, but the ground message is the environment and having bike friendly cities. That's the universal message. But since it's a peer to peer event, it's not centralized. There is not really one big organization behind it. It's really like up to the participants. Everyone can give a side message as they wish, but of course, everyone should embrace the main 2 points about bicycles and pollution.
It sounds like one of those causes that, even though it has one main mission, it's so many people are coming to it for different purposes. For, as you said,
Exactly.
self-exploration, for embracing the shame that comes with getting naked in public. And to be honest, when you have all those advice in social media telling you, oh, post something on YouTube, say something to the camera, or talk to a stranger, getting naked is not the one of the first things you think about doing when you're working on your shame. So that's a big chapeau bas for anyone who actually just shows up for that reason. And also, we say environment. I'm not very familiar with those kind of purposes and causes, but what I'm very curious is the community and the connection, because people matter, and the way you guys connect, it's very, I wouldn't say peculiar, but there is a reason why you all connect. Could you describe maybe if you connect with those people, do you talk with any of them afterwards? When you get dressed up, or maybe you're still naked? It's more of if anything comes after this kind of bike ride, if you get a chance to have a conversation with any one of them, what comes up when you do?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because as everything and everywhere, you may or may not be in an environment that fits you, that is your own ecosystem, and you may or may not connect deeply with people. Sometimes you connect deeply with people in totally alien environments to your own comfort zone, or the opposite could be true, that you connect only when you are in your own comfort zone. In this case, this event made me connect with 2, 3 people or 4 more deeply, but no more than 10 in 10 years, or more than 10 years. In more than 10 years, no more than 10 connections, deep connections. And that's actually really, this is a lot of people, I think, because actually you don't have capacity to do more than that. You know, how many friends do we have? We don't have more than 5, 10 good friends. And for me, I'm really happy about that. And sometimes I have expectations. I think, but why I didn't connect with these other people? They don't reply to my messages, or they don't come to this other event. But that's fine, because this is the same thing like love, you know? It's just as it is. Sometimes you think the feeling is different, but it's always something that you cannot predict.
10 years is quite a
But
while.
for me, yeah, for me it's a bit like my, yeah, this, because cycling, it's my religion. This is one part of my religion. This naked bike ride, it's now a ritual we do once a year. And the others that come, some of them, they come from the other side of the world. Some of them come from to Finland, from Germany, from Switzerland, even from other continents. Maybe those from other continents, not just for this, but many come just for this. Many take a flight, they take hotels, and they take 3 days at work just to be naked on the bike. Sometimes under the rain. But no, now we chose the hottest day, so it will be always sunny.
That's very nice of you. Imagine doing like one of those and doing a cold plunge at the end in winter in Finland.
Yeah, we do it.
That would be beautiful.
We do it. We do it, and since in Finland is winter all the year round, it can be really cold sometimes in June. But now we picked the right, because we were doing it in June before. Now we picked July, and we picked the really warmest day, because in Finland you can never predict the weather. A bit like love. The weather is like love in Finland. You never know.
The weather is
During
like
the
love in
summer.
Finland. Okay, I get that now. So I'm very curious. Like, short thing I was about to ask you: is it illegal to be naked in Finland?
That's a really good question, because this is something that everybody should know before coming to the event. So remember, guys and girls, it's legal to be naked, or at least it's not illegal, at least not in Finland, and at least not in most European countries. I am quite sure in Poland it's the same. So what's the law? The law says in Finland and in other countries as well, many other countries, it says that it's illegal to have indecent exposure. So to do something that creates an indecent exposure. What is it? It's really personal. Everybody has different points of view about it. Some people may feel you are doing something indecent, even when you're not. Some people may think you're not doing something decent when you are. So it's personal, and nudity itself, it's not illegal in Finland and in many other countries as well. So it's totally legal. And of course, if people start to call police because they think that you're indecent, or if you do something wrong, if you start to be sexual, which is not the case for this event, then of course you may be you may be target of police, or you may get a ticket, or but being just naked is not illegal. And that's why we have one of the mottos as a protest against indecent exposure to car gas, because we find that what is indecent is pollution. It's the gas, the oil, and all what's behind it, the environmental effects and the political effects. So this is really what is indecent, not just your own body. We were all born naked and there is nothing wrong with it. We are all naked under the shower, and we are all naked under our clothes.
That's a very good point. It's all natural, and it's all very social. The change, we started wearing clothes and we started getting shameful of our own bodies. Anyhow, I had to ask the question because even though it says it's illegal, even in my search bar, like public nudity in Finland, as long as it's not sexual, it's about equality and acceptance, whatever. This is like Finns are generally accepting of nudity in appropriate settings, but those settings come to like a beach, like a gym, possibly locker room or anything else. And I do get that you can be naked there, and some people may say it's socially awkward or socially unacceptable, but I would say it's totally fine. It's more like personal matter if you like it or not. But staying naked in public, I I would say yes for those kind of causes, like going on a bike. And even though if it didn't have a mission, but it was like a group thing, like more people are riding naked, and it looks like you guys are an organization or a group, okay. But if there is going to be a group of friends who ride naked, I'm gonna feel I would love to do it with you. But at the same time, it just feels so illegal. It just feels so. It sounds freeing and liberating, but at the same time, the society just puts you in so many rules and so many boundaries. So I don't see
Why,
this.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, no, continue. Yeah, that's the point, that you get out of the boxes when you do it.
Oh, you need to. You get out of boxers.
The boxers and boxes. Yeah. The societal boxes, and your own boxers and panties, whatever you have.
What's your definition of freedom? Freedom. I think that's very essential to understand in this topic also. How would you define it for yourself? Don't put it in the box, just flow with how does it feel.
Yeah. Well, freedom, like love, it's really subjective. And there is also another song about freedom. There are songs about everything. And actually, this song's also it's from a singer philosopher and anarchist a bit. And he says that freedom is not about running around, going around naked. So going around naked is freeing, but it's not really freedom. It's part of freedom, but it's not freedom itself. What he says in his song, which is also my point about freedom, is that freedom is about participation. And I think that's the main point of freedom. When you can participate in something and you can say your opinion and you can take decisions together. So that's why being naked, it's a kind of participation, because you are expressing something. You are saying a message to the rest of the world, and they allow you to talk. They don't prevent you to talk with your body. That's body language. And that's the freedom. But it's not that being naked itself is the freedom. The freedom is to being allowed to give your message and have someone listening to you. That's maybe the freedom.
Do you think, do you get to express yourself in this world? Because you have your blog, you have those kind of experiences. You traveled Europe and I think a part of Asia on a bike,
Mhm.
on your like on your long, very long and full of discipline trip.
Yeah, but with clothes, huh?
With-
Mostly with clothes on.
That's very important to state those kind of stuff. You had a 30-liter backpack and a cheap bicycle that you found in the trash
Yes.
and tons of
Yeah.
curiosity that you wrote. Do you get to express yourself in this world?
Yeah, I'm really happy. Actually, to be sincere, one of the things that I love the most about traveling is that I can go back to the places that I really like many places in Europe, like in European Union. In Europe, we are so lucky that we can do that. And I always miss Europe whenever I leave the continent. That's why now lately I'm hanging out, like I'm staying mostly in Europe because I think in freedom we have a lot of privileges and rights, and we are so lucky. And sometimes we forget about it. So the problem is that we have to watch out to keep those things and to continue in the direction of improving, because if you start to relax and you don't think about your rights and your freedoms and you give them for granted, then you may lose them again.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I was in Belarus, I was in Iran, um, and also, well, in South America. And well, there were situations where, well, oftentimes, especially in Belarus and in Iran, I felt like in a jail. Even though the people was like, especially in Iran, people was great, but I really felt, I really felt like to be in a jail. And the best for me was to go back home at certain point, even though it's lovely to travel and to meet people.
What's something that people don't realize about travel? That, as you said, what's something that people don't realize about travel, about maybe this darker side of travel? Because in the beginning of our conversation, I told you that I had to stop traveling because I don't like people. It's
Why
not
you stop traveling?
because I don't like people. No,
To
it's
let
more.
people?
No, not no. It's more of
I mean, you
social.
uh,
We spoke about it. I feel
anxiety.
tired.
Mm.
Yeah,
Of course, overwhelmed, of course.
lots of things going at once, and I had to take a break. But about yourself, you said you felt like in a jail, that lots of freedoms are being taken. You come back to the places you love, but at the same time, yeah, you keep making those choices. So, what do you think there is about travel that people don't know? People don't realize that there is this side of traveling.
The side of traveling that people don't realize.
Yes.
The first, it's the obvious one, but really important. The first really important, obvious that we all have heard about. It's about not thinking about the destination, but about the whole thing. It should not even be about the trip to get there, but the full experience, even before, after, during. That's why bike trips for these are the best, because you go slow and you really enjoy every centimeter of the trip and every person you meet. And also because if you get things too quickly, you also appreciate them a bit less. If it takes a bit longer to get to that place, you will appreciate it a bit more. That's for me. That's the main point. And then also the same thing that you were mentioning before. Maybe you have a similar definition that about expectations. Do not have expectations, because in many trips I had certain expectations. For example, in Ukraine, I cycled all Ukraine and also a bit before the war, but there was already the occupation in Crimea. And even there, when I arrived in Ukraine, I was reading online about it and hearing people, and everybody told me, watch out, there is a lot of corruption in Ukraine. It's the most corrupted country in Europe, and it can be dangerous. And so when I arrived, I was with someone and I told her, let's watch out when we arrive here in Ukraine. I was coming from Lithuania. Where I was coming from? No, I was coming actually from Belarus. I was coming from Belarus. First Lithuania, then Belarus, and then Ukraine. So, and I was worried because actually in Belarus, even though it's a dictatorship, it's a bit safer, especially because it's a dictatorship. So I thought, wow, Ukraine is unsafe and I have to watch out. And I was keeping a stick with me and trying to protect myself. And maybe someone comes and wants to steal my stuff, or they will try to cheat. And then I loved Ukraine. I loved Kiev so much. It was one of my favorite cities. I spent there months, and then I came back and I came back. It was a great place. Many people spoke English. They loved Europeans. They had a lot of even vegan restaurants. It was so safe. I felt really safe, except of the streets, but like the roads, but that were not in best condition. But it was really safe. I never felt any danger or corruption. I will also don't know. So this is to say that the travel makes us see the places with our own eyes, and then we can decide for our own. Maybe we don't manage to go to all places that we have some stereotypes, some opinions, some prejudice about. But when we when we do travel, we should keep in mind that the experience we have, it's often not the one that we were expecting, and oftentimes it's better. And because of this, we should also not think that other places that we didn't visit are exactly as we pictured them.
It's something powerful when you have those expectations in the beginning and things don't work out the way you want them. It's like life. It's like love, and it's like even feeder, because you said something about feeder, like bike travel feeder, that you can start to play in one way and then you're gonna end up in much different place than you were expecting, because the different people will come with their own lines, with their own story. When you travel, when you're on your bike, you're gonna meet that person, and that person can change the whole trajectory of the whole place, of the whole journey. And coming back to what you said, that it's not about destination, it's more of about the journey, it's about the path.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really easy. Like it's really, it's something that we all heard, and it's just that we have to get it. We have to understand it. It's not about saying it. We all have heard it, but we should understand that it's really like this.
Okay, last topic for today, because I'm tired. I'm tired myself. We've been talking to it.
Yeah. No. Now we say goodbye. We say goodbye, but with one promise from you to do one of those three things.
We're not saying
Either.
no.
But before we say goodbye, okay, no, you say goodbye. Okay.
Oh, we're not saying goodbye yet. I have one more topic to talk about, dude.
Okay.
I was
No, I wanted to make sure.
yeah. Keep that in mind. Write it down somewhere, because the last thing I wanted to talk with you is about helping like people, because you meet those people on the streets, and when you travel, you know people. You know possibly that most of us are trying to do good in life. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it's very hard to just deal with life. Sometimes it just goes harsh, especially when you end up on the street. And it's something that I don't have
Mhm.
experience with. I've never talked about this kind of stuff. So
Mm.
it's maybe you can lead me in this topic. I'd like to like talk 5 minutes about it at least. That I heard and I see that you are doing this project called Street Connections. And in the beginning of the podcast, you said that you wanted to do more of it also, about helping the people in need. What is it about? How do you approach that? If you could describe it to the listeners.
That's really difficult. So how to approach this generic topic?
Yeah, without going like too crazy with the details, maybe what brought you to doing this kind of stuff? What kind of, like, maybe not what kind of people you meet up there, but what kind of energy, what kind of vibes and emotions it brings, and what lessons did you learn from it as a person?
Yeah, yeah. This is a really complicated topic because this is actually the opposite of what we hear. It's a bit different than the obvious slow travel thing that we all know and love things. Those are things that we already know a bit. That. But about people sleeping rough, I think that most of us have really wrong thoughts about it, especially because we don't confront with it so much. With travel, with love, with all these things, we confront each other often. But with people sleeping rough, tell me how many people have talked with someone like a bit longer than 1 minute. How many people have
Okay,
made a
what do
friend?
you mean by people sleeping rough? Paint the picture. What does it mean? I read your blog, so I have a picture, but for those who didn't.
So people sleeping rough means people staying in the street, not having a place where to sleep. And I mean that I mean that it's often totally different than what we think. 99.9, if not 100% of the times, we cannot guess why people is in the street. It's not that easy. It's not that you think, it's drugs, it's alcohol. Yeah, there are common factors, but each person, it's a different story. And oftentimes we don't know the needs of the person, and we don't know that, or we don't realize, or we don't want to realize that there is a really quick fix. It's not a difficult problem to fix. Um, but before talking about the quick fix, we talk about them. The people sleeping rough. I had experiences meeting and having friends also with them because I I was traveling a lot as a kid already, and I was ending up always going around in trains, stations, all kind of hubs and places where people may chill for short, or where people may stay because they don't have a place where to sleep. So I was confronting myself with them when I was already a teenager, and I always had the feeling that they were not bad people. And I'm curious, so I liked to talk with everyone, and with also with those that were next to me sleeping on the bench while I was also on the bench, but just for a few hours. And all the times I met someone in the street, it was someone sleeping in the street or without a home. It was always another story, and it was always not because of what I may have thought. Sometimes they had problems with family, sometimes they had mental problems. So the common factor is that they have often mental problems, or if they don't have it yet, when they end up in the street, they will develop it later because when you're in the street, you will have mental problems at some point. It's not human to be in the street. Like even war, it's more human than being in the street. Even, even fighting, it's more human than me. Like being in the street, it's totally out of our humanity indeed. So not like even animals, they have sometimes a space where like they have shelters for animals. And if you think about it, even criminals, they have a place where to sleep and they get the food and drinks. So it's really a punishment that nobody deserves to be in the street because it's the most ugly thing to be in the street and to have nowhere to go. First of all, physically, it's like it's destroying you, like in the cold, in the heat, with people walking around you, people harassing you, people pushing you away. So the physical thing. Then the mental thing that you don't have a place to call home, even just this. Even a traveler may have this a little bit that, I am traveling, but I don't have my place. But imagine you don't have at all the place where to go. And you will not have it in the future. Like you know that you don't have it now and you will not have it later. Like all your belongings, all your things, you wanna be one moment by yourself. You cannot be by yourself. Imagine you cannot be by yourself 1 minute of your life. And when you are somewhere in a toilet or you hide yourself in a shelter in a cardboard box, there will be always someone that may knock and tell you, "Yeah, you have to go away from here." That's horrible. And I cannot say that I experienced it myself fully because I had always the luck to have somewhere, but I like to experiment things. So I was in Finland for 1 year without renting anything. And I was going around sometimes randomly without a place to sleep to challenge myself and find places to sleep, like even random people hosting me, even in the tent. I slept in all kind of places and I could have chosen to have a place. I have my family with multiple apartments and I own myself some places. So, but I wanted to try this thing. And even for me, it was so difficult. Even for me, it was so difficult. And I felt people stigmatizing me and pointing at me, when I was going with the bike in the backpack. So it's really, really ugly. And then the main point is that we get it all wrong. Everybody gets it wrong. It's not easy to understand why people is in the street. It's not their fault. Absolutely not. Maybe someone has done errors, but we all make errors. It doesn't mean that you deserve to be in the street because of your errors. Maybe, yeah, some people can be violent, but rarely, really rarely. Yeah, it could be that, but it's also not the reason because most violence happens at home. But it's not easy to understand, but it's easy to fix. That's a really easy way to fix. Like institutions could just give places to sleep, like a real studio, a real apartment, not just a shelter. Like there are solutions, and if you stop the people in the beginning from being in the street, they will have more chances to be a part of society and contribute also back. But if you leave people in the street, you will make the problem bigger and bigger because even a few days in the street will make your head falling apart and you will not manage to save these people again. Once you are there for weeks and months and years, the damage is so big that it's really hard and it's already too ugly to stay there so long. And the person, even if you give them a place later, it's already too late and it may be even difficult if they want to give back for society. So for governments, it's so easy to just give a place and be even earning from it because after this person will be working more probably it can be working, and there are many cases of it, and it can give back to the community. So yeah, this is a bit really touching topic for me, and it can be a really long topic. But now we don't have the time
It's a
to
powerful
discuss it. But this is
I can tell.
yeah.
So to finish this up, if you could just do it briefly, if there's anything that we as society, as fellow human beings could do, I'm not saying necessarily about this situation, but just overall all in life, what would you say that would be something that we can do better as society?
Sorry, I didn't hear the.
What's something that we can do as human beings
Hmm.
better?
For in general or for
I
this
would
for
say in general, but I think you can touch on this topic also. Like
yeah
include it. We
yeah
can.
yeah I think something that we can do in general, and for this is just it's really simple. This is easy again. This is the easy part, is that we just have to open a bit our eyes and to do a step more closer to things and problems, and just try to interact with those situations. Like, you want to help someone, go. You don't have to have millions, or be strong or have time. You can do little with little. So you can do a lot with little. You can do little things that are big improvements after, when they're done by many. So, for example, one easy thing about these problems, just go there and talk with this person. If this person lives near to you, uh, just talk. But in general, if someone is in distress, just try to help them. Like, you want probably that people helps you when you have problems, right? But why don't you do the little step of just asking, like, how are you? Someone it's feeling bad. Okay, ask them if you can do something. Like, can I bring you a bottle of water? In general, not just in this case, but in general, we should be more open to interact and to help each other instead of being in the bubbles. Yeah.
The bubbles might be very sometimes beneficial. They might help, but sometimes they just close our eyes on seeing things the way they are. Thank you for talking about it. Yeah. We're gonna
Thanks
hold
for
space for
asking.
that for sure. It's a great in a sense of magnitude, in a sense of size, how big this topic is, and how openly we might not even talk about it because you can like we all can imagine that sometimes life just gives you a log and you just fall on this log, and all you need is someone to help you, especially in the early stages. Someone to tell you that maybe you're enough, maybe someone giving you a practical advice, or someone giving you a practical help and giving you actually their hand, because giving help doesn't mean that you are losing something. Giving kindness, giving love doesn't mean you're going to have less of it in life. I'd like to finish up
Oh,
on one of the quotes you have. I think this is a very good quote that is on your blog post. It says, life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. Could you say something about it? Like at the end, that's like second to last question I have.
yeah. Yeah, that's also, as it reads, it's about being active and not stopping whenever, even whenever we feel like, we don't have the power anymore. And because, stopping means just to get in a circle of, spiraling down whenever we need to do something, whenever there is something important. um we need to have this power of, the strength of going through. In Finnish it's called sisu. That could be a metaphor for it.
Luca, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? What do you think it is?
Jakub, okay. What makes me happy? I think that there is not a one answer for this, but often also having other people happy around me makes me happy. But there is not one answer. Yeah, but in general, it's a bit like love, being comfortable and having others also being comfortable and being happy. I think that's the main point for me.
Thank you so much for today. That was great connecting with you and seeing how deep you can go.
Thank
Awesome.
you, Jakub. You too.